I just finished watching this so-called speech coming out of Boston, and let me tell you something, this right here is exactly what's wrong with our country today. Instead of thanking our federal government, our military, and President Trump for keeping America safe, we have politicians standing on a stage and patting themselves on the back while attacking the very people who defend our freedoms. They're trying to convince you that Boston doesn't need Trump, doesn't need ICE, doesn't need the National Guard. Well, I've got news for them. When chaos breaks out, when crime spikes, and when illegal immigration continues to overwhelm our communities, it's not the local mayor who's stepping up with real resources. It's the federal government. But of course, the left doesn't want to admit that, because they would rather push their political theater than actually solve problems. This whole speech was less about protecting Boston and more about demonizing Trump and anyone who believes in law and order. And as a patriot, as someone who loves this country, I'm not going to let that slide without calling it out.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Wu. Thank you, Boston Police, for making Boston the safest city in the United States of America. Mayor Wu and the Boston Police do not need Donald Trump or his National Guard to tell them how to make Boston the safest city in our nation. They are already doing it. They can teach lessons to Donald Trump and to ICE as to how to best police this country. They are, in fact, abusing the constitutional rights of Americans. They are invading cities across this country, and Boston does not need the help of Donald Trump, does not need the help of ICE, does not need the help of the National Guard to come here. They are already doing the job. So we are here today to stand up to Donald Trump's authoritarianism. And it's no surprise that Trump and his MAGA Republicans want to pick a fight with our hard-working state and local leaders, especially here in Boston, for their political theater, because that's all that it is. Trump has set his sights on Boston, on Massachusetts, and on our way of life. Trump has attacked our universities, sought to kneecap our economy of brain power, unlawfully withheld federal funds, terrorized our hardworking members of our community. His authoritarian tactics are meant to squash dissent, to dehumanize our immigrant communities, and to spread fear and cruelty. What Trump hates is the very DNA of Boston, from Roxbury to Dorchester, from East Boston to Mattapan. Our neighborhoods and have their own rhythms, and they add to the city's song. That's why he fears it, because you cannot silence this heartbeat. You cannot erase this rhythm without trying to rip out the very soul of Boston and America itself. And since taking office,
the speaker thanks Mayor Wu and Boston Police, claiming Boston is the safest city in America. Really, last I checked, violent crime, drugs, and gangs are still serious issues in that city. They say Trump and ICE are abusing constitutional rights. Let me ask, what about the rights of American citizens who suffer when illegal immigrants commit crimes? Why don't those rights matter? The speech accuses Trump of targeting Boston by withholding funds. That's called accountability, folks. You don't get federal dollars if you refuse to enforce federal law. Period. They claim Trump is spreading fear in immigrant communities. No, he's enforcing the law. If you came here legally, you have nothing to fear. If you broke this law, you don't get special treatment. They romanticize Boston's neighborhoods and diversity as if that excuses lawlessness. Nobody is saying Boston isn't proud of its culture. We're saying safety comes first. They throw around the 10th Amendment as if it gives states the right to ignore federal law. Wrong. The Constitution makes it clear immigration enforcement is a federal responsibility. The speaker declares Boston and Massachusetts will not bow to Trump. Translation? They'd rather play politics than keep their citizens safe. They pledge loyalty to Mayor Wu and the immigrant community. That's fine, but where's the pledge to American citizens who are dealing with crime, taxes, and a broken system? Then they compare Trump to a wannabe king. That's laughable. The only wannabe rulers I see are Democrats who want absolute control over cities and states, silencing anyone who disagrees. Finally, they claim the people hold the power. Yes, they do, and the people elected Trump because they were tired of weak leadership, open borders, and anti-American rhetoric.
Since taking office, Trump has tried to push this shining city on the hill downward. I urge President Trump to read the United States Constitution. The 10th Amendment forbids the president from strong-arming states and cities to use their own money and police to carry out Trump's agenda of terror. It is a violation of the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Trump wants the city of Boston, Mayor Wu, to bow to his dream of absolute power. But today, we are here to say Boston will not bow down. Today, we are here to say that Massachusetts will not be bullied. I know that Mayor Wu and Boston's leaders are working hard to keep Boston the safest city in our country, to uphold state and local laws, and to treat the immigrant community with the dignity and respect which it deserves. We will continue, I will continue to stand solidly with Mayor Wu, solidly with the city of Boston, solely with the immigrant community in the city of Boston, which makes Boston greater every single day. We are going to put the Constitution ahead of Donald Trump's callous disregard for the rule of law. 250 years ago, right here, a half a mile away at the Old Knot Church, a revolution began. A revolution that made it very clear that we would throw off the dictates of a king who harassed and oppressed the residents of Boston. We're going to do it again with this wannabe king. Just like then, Boston is going to rise. Massachusetts will rise, and together we will remind him that we have no kings in Boston or Massachusetts or the United States of America. Only the people have power. Let us protect Boston. Thank you all so much. Let me now turn to Rusi Louis-Jean, President of the Boston City Council.
But at the end of the day, this wasn't a speech about Boston's safety. It was a rallying cry against Trump and everything Patriots stand for. They can dress it up with emotional language and Revolutionary War metaphors, but the truth is clear. They fear law and order, and they fear Trump because he puts America first. So, to Mayor Wu, to the Boston politicians, and to everyone cheering on this nonsense, I say this: you don't get to pick and choose which laws you follow. You don't get to ignore the Constitution when it's convenient and then hide behind it when it suits you. Patriots across this country see right through the show. We will continue to stand for President Trump. We will continue to stand for law and order. And we will continue to put America first, whether Boston likes it or not. God bless this country. God bless our Constitution. And God bless the American people.